With Nintendo's first 8th gen console utilising extensive touch controls, it seems like the hidden object genre would be a comfortable fit, and Dracula's Legacy would prove that for the most part. After releasing initially in 2015, Jet Dog Studios' adventure would come to the Wii U the following year, courtesy of Joindots. A cheap price point and a focus on touch controls definitely give it more bite than the PC original. And while it's a shame there are some issues with presentation and a lack of polish, those looking for a breezy and sturdy adventure could certainly do a lot worse. Just don't expect it to linger long in the memory after completion. Isabella is an amnesiac whose past sits in a dark cloud. She finds comfort in fiancé Matt, both of whom travel to an isolated ghost town to try to trigger her memories. Unfortunately, things go south pronto, with a monster attacking both. Isabella falls into a dungeon, while Matt is captured by a mysterious entity. With guidance by a friendly spirit, the heroine must make her way out of the dungeon and try to save her beloved spouse. While the breakneck start and gothic ambience is certainly welcome, abysmal voice acting and issues with translation, resulting in some very confused dialogue, definitely put a damper on the game's narrative. It's definitely not one of those adventures you'll play for the story, which is a shame, as the world shows potential.
Matt wanted to walk me home, but I had no home. My mind had nothing where memories would live. Nothing but that awful, thick fog.
But Dracula's Legacy doesn't trip up on the gameplay front. A solid hidden object adventure, mostly replete with seeking out items, then combining them to clear obstacles. The experience benefits from touch controls afforded by the gamepad. Everything from inspecting backgrounds closer, completing hidden object hunts, and interacting with puzzles is done with a touch motion, and it feels great. The underlying gameplay is certainly typical for the genre, with puzzles and solutions gradually getting more complex as you progress, including a rather challenging brain teaser which sees you trying to reassemble a photo without much guidance. 2 difficulty settings do offer distinct challenges, with casual allowing for guidance, while advanced reduces the glow around key interactions and makes picking out interactables harder. Either way, you're in for a solid, if unspectacular, time. It's a shame there are some noticeable issues relating to a lack of polish, and perhaps its limited budget. Some of this was apparent in the original, such as a few very garish cutscenes that feel cheap next to generally high quality art used for gameplay backgrounds. It can border on unintentional hilarity. Still, some of the backgrounds you explore, whether it's the gloomy underground dungeon, unsettling market area, or gothic castle structures, are genuinely excellent. Hidden object puzzles also often look the part, with great satisfaction coming from slowly clearing the screen of clutter. There are times when this game looks great, clashing with other moments where it more resembles a flash game.
Everything changed unexpectedly, and all our laughter was replaced by mourning. Our town was overtaken by a horrible disease. There is no rescue from this disaster.
One noticeable moment sees a puzzle involving spinning discs being impossible to complete due to no way to swap layers. And while puzzle skipping allows you to bypass it altogether, it's still a baffling inclusion. Other issues include progression halting bugs that force a restart, such as the aforementioned puzzle continuously loading on an interact screen without being able to trigger the next cutscene. These issues are a shame, and can leave this version of Dracula's Legacy feeling rushed. This also raises an interesting question on value for money. Even on an initial run, you'd be lucky to break the 5-hour mark, depending on how often you skip puzzles and tap for guidance as to where to go next. with the adventure being linear and lacking any way to reshape the story, it's also not very tantalising for replays. However, this release came with an attractive price of $5.99, which, while more expensive than the Steam version, is still very cheap, especially considering how later versions of the game would be closer to £20.
You'll probably be more talkative at gunpoint, I bet. Speak up. What do you know about the person in the photo?
Dracula's Legacy is ultimately a breezy, enjoyable, but flawed hidden object adventure that proves satisfactory for the brief time it lasts, but will likely disappear from memory not long after. Attractive backgrounds, intuitive touch controls, and a cheap price tag definitely appeal, but game-breaking bugs, cheap-looking moments, and a wonky story are less than appetizing. Ultimately, if you are desperate to get a fix of hidden object puzzling on your Wii U, this should prove enjoyable and worth the low bar of entry.